Hello, boys and girls. Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast here, and it's time to make another drink. Today, we're going to make a spiked eggnog, which is the featured drink in today's episode. Pretty simple. We're going to take our glass, using a rocks glass. I'm going to take my eggnog. Southern Comfort Eggnog. I'm going to pour about 8 ounces in there. Now, I have a confession to make. I've never actually had eggnog. So, I'm going to try it straight. See how it goes. Yeah. Not bad. But to make our spike eggnog, we're going to take some bourbon. And we're going to add, this is the way I'm doing it. No, you do what you want. 1.5 ounces of bourbon. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 ounce amaretto liqueur, or as I like to call it, Di Serono. Maybe a little more. I don't know. We'll see. Then we're going to stir it up. Smells delicious. Then I'm going to add some ground cinnamon to the top. Just a little bit. Like so. Then we're going to add some ground nutmeg. Like so. Let's see how we did. Smells good. Yeah, I dig it. I could drink that every Christmas Eve. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the podcast. See you.
Eggnog really takes center stage for part of this week's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast, number 33, A Christmas Horror Story. Let's just say that Greg gets a little emotional about his first eggnog experience, and Karen, that's me, entertains you with what I called an eloquent soliloquy on the history of eggnog. All of this is very fascinating stuff, and I will admit, all the more tolerable with some added spirits in your glass of the festive nog. Cheers!
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So if you're ready, let's go.
Hi, I'm Greg.
And I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different
yet highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm fabulous. How are you, Greg?
I'm awesome.
What? Don't throw me off like that at the beginning of one of these
I am.
things.
I'm awesome.
Oh, somebody pre-gamed.
I'm feeling it.
Excellent.
All right, Karen, I don't think we have any. What was the last episode? Krampus was last episode, Karen. So I don't think we have any corrections that I can think of. So I think we're good there. I have no comments. Do you have any comments?
No, I do not.
I do not either.
If anyone else does, they can email us at info@scaryspirits.com.
Yes, they can. All right, Karen, I believe this was your choice this week. Episode 33, December 8th.
I believe it was.
Well, Karen, what film have you chosen for us to watch this week?
I've chosen A Christmas Horror Story.
A Christmas horror story, you say?
Yes, I do. From 2015.
Same year as Krampus. It was a banner year for Christmas horror, Karen.
It appears so.
Any reason why you picked this, or just?
It's December. It's sort of Christmassy.
Christmassy, yeah. Krampus knocked was just a few nights ago.
I hope you're all still with us.
Yes. Do we have a cocktail for this episode, Karen?
Yes, we do. A festive one.
Festive?
I think so.
Oh, what could it be? Tell us.
It's kind of rogue and a little freewheeling. So we're just going to have a glass of eggnog and whatever spirit you want to throw in it.
Okay. What did you throw in your glass of eggnog, Karen?
I used spiced rum.
Oh, spiced rum.
It's very delicious. Kind of
So
warms it up a little.
What was your ratio of spiced rum to eggnog?
I have about a cup of eggnog and I put in a decent splash. That's what I'd say. Probably about a shot.
Decent splash.
Yeah.
I have exactly a cup of eggnog in my glass, Karen. 8 ounces. That's a cup.
Because you're precise. It is a cup, yes.
And then I added 1.5 ounces of Maker's Mark bourbon whiskey. And then I added a half an ounce of amaretto liqueur, or as I call it, Di Serono.
Wow.
And then
No.
I stirred that all up, Karen. And I sprinkled ground cinnamon and ground nutmeg on top.
Wow.
And it's delicious.
All you need is the cinnamon stick to stir it with.
My first eggnog ever. I cannot complain.
Would you have it again? Would you serve it at your Christmas party?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to, because I have a quart of it to drink.
That's true.
How many cups are in a quart, Karen? Do you know?
I don't know. 2?
Cups
There's
in
60
a quart?
Isn't there 16 ounces or is that a pint?
There are 4 cups in a quart, Karen. So I'm going to have 4 of these at least to get
All
rid
right.
of this
So
eggnog.
I was thinking of a pint. Sorry, it's been a while since home ec.
Yeah, it's good. Never had an eggnog before. Even straight is good.
I'm glad you like it.
I never would have tried this if it weren't for this podcast with you, Karen.
Wow. A special moment.
Now I'm getting all touchy-feely.
Yeah, you're getting a little too emotional. Let's get everybody to gather their ingredients.
Hold on. And we're back.
I like it.
Yeah.
Creamy.
Hopefully our listeners got their eggnog and either added whiskey or brandy or spiced rum. Those are the popular ones, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, whatever. Just add like a shot to your little 8-ounce rocks glass full of eggnog and you'll be good. Or more. Whatever. You do you. You do what you want.
I agree. Go for it.
All right, Karen. Might you have a brief synopsis?
I do.
Oh, thank God.
I know you're worried every week, but I remembered.
Good.
You want to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
A Christmas Horror Story from 2015. Not even Santa Claus is safe from the evil that descends on Bailey Downs, a small town that is suddenly plagued with malevolent spirits, zombie elves, and Krampus, the anti-Santa Claus.
Was that all?
That's it.
Okay.
As we like to say, that's accurate,
It's fairly
If-
accurate.
if brief.
Fairly accurate. There's a lot more to the story than just that. Right?
Well, yes, it's a collection of stories.
What we call an anthology, Karen.
Is that what we call it?
That's what we call it, an anthology
Okay, it's an anthology.
of interwoven stories, right?
Are they that? They're a little interwoven, not as
yeah,
much
they are.
as.
I mean, they didn't even mention, like they left like two of the whole stories out of that synopsis.
It's true.
That's the same one I used on the website, Karen. So,
The website at scaryspirits.com.
yes. Yes. You ready to get into it, Karen?
Let's give the people what they want.
All right. A Christmas Horror Story from 2015. Do you remember 2015, Karen?
Nothing pops out, but I'm sure I do. Do you have anything to remind me of from 2015?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Sorry. Movie starts and we have credits.
Lots of credits.
Yeah, quite a few. But at one point there was like an upside down cross in the credits and things. You see that?
I saw it. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a young boy singing a Christmas song as the credits go. And there were cool snowflakes, like made out of ice, they looked like, right?
As opposed
Well,
to the other snowflakes that are made out of
I guess they almost look steampunk or something.
beer. I don't know.
Very crisp. They weren't soft, fluffy snowflakes. They were,
Well, I think all snowflakes look like that under microscopes. And at least that's what I'm told, Dr. Karen. I don't know.
you're already going to challenge me on ice, snow and ice. This is going to be a long one.
All right. Then we learn it's Christmas Eve.
Well, wait. So the snow is falling. The young boy is singing. And then did you see the blood? The snowflakes started having blood on them.
Okay. I'm sure
And
I
then-
did, but I don't.
And then
Didn't
it
make a note of
turns
it.
dark. And then the upside down cross is there.
Okay.
And then the title comes up,
And then
A
like,
Christmas Horror Story.
Then we learn it's Christmas Eve because it's written on the screen, Karen.
Yes, it is.
And we're zooming into a castle,
Yeah, again, I described it as steampunk.
and it's Santa's castle.
It is.
And Santa's talking to his reindeer.
He is.
Santa eventually turns around and he has a big gash on his face, Karen, a big bloody gash. And then the door is like knocking. Like, what would you call that?
It's like the stable doors
Yes.
are kind of rattling, almost like
rattling. Yeah.
like a big wind is hitting it or something.
Yeah. They're shaking and rattling, not like
Yes.
knocking, but.
Yeah, kind of.
And Santa says, "Who's there?" And he grabs an axe. And the door bursts open and we see a bright light. And then on the screen it says 12 hours earlier. Then we see Dan the DJ, right, Karen?
Dangerous Dan is his name.
Yes, I know. But I call him Dan the DJ
I call him William Shatner.
because it is William Shatner.
Yes.
And he's talking about Christmas.
He's kind of warm and fuzzy about Christmas,
He
seems
is.
like.
He is. And he's trying to get Norman, the weatherman, involved in the conversation, who was on the other side of the glass from him.
He's in his little booth and it's all made up, decorated. It's got Christmas lights and knickknacks and all that. And
Because Dan is pulling his yearly 12-hour shift or something like that.
yeah, and Norman, the weatherman, is outside of that little area on the other side of the glass.
I think he calls him Storm and Norman, doesn't he?
Maybe. Is that where the producer might sit or something? I don't know.
Dan keeps referring to the producer behind him, but we never see that person. And we know it's a female because he refers to the producer by a female name and whatever.
I just have Norman, the weatherman, hates Christmas.
But he's supposed to go to the mall for the food drive.
Yes, he is.
And that's where I wrote, he is not a fan of Christmas. Is that what you just said?
I said he hates Christmas.
Okay. Well, I wrote he's not a fan. So same difference. And he leaves the studio. And then Dan starts drinking his spiked eggnog.
Yeah, he breaks out the eggnog and the whiskey.
Did you make a note of what kind of whiskey he was putting in his eggnog, Karen?
Looked like scotch to me, but I'm not sure.
I don't either. I didn't make a note.
But do you want to know where eggnog originated from?
Oh my God, I would love to know where eggnog originated from. Wait a minute. Let me get my pen so I can take notes.
Sip and enjoy.
Eggnog. All right, go on.
It's believed that eggnog began in Europe as early as the 13th century. Medieval monks in Britain were known to drink posset, a warm ale punch with eggs and figs. Over time, this likely merged with the various milk and wine punches often served at social gatherings. It's always those monks. Those monks were drinkers, you know?
Yeah, because they're fucking depressed all the time, I think.
So by the
Maybe.
17th century, sherry became the primary ingredient.
Sherry.
And it was popular to use this eggy beverage as a toast to one's health and prosperity. The aristocracy primarily consumed it because milk, eggs, and sherry were scarce commodities in Europe at the time. So when the brew made it to the American colonies, it took on a whole new taste and popularity. The rum that American colonists could get from the Caribbean was considerably less expensive than brandy, other liqueurs, and wine shipped from England. And so, along with the readily available supply of milk and eggs in the colonies, the rum version quickly became the drink for people of all classes.
So there's no significance with eggs and rebirth and new beginnings and any shit like that, like there is with Easter.
No, it says that eggnog became a familiar fixture during the holiday season across the colonies in the 1700s. And it's frequently made without alcohol, but each region adapts the drink to their own personal tastes. In the South, people tended to prefer whiskey over rum. So it became a drink to toast your prosperity, and it was a rich person's drink for quite a while. There you go.
Thank you, Karen, for that history of
that
eggnog.
Eloquent soliloquy on eggnog. You're very welcome.
All right, Karen, then we see 3 kids in a car. So it's an anthology, so there are 4 interwoven stories, correct?
Yes.
Yes. We have Santa's Castle. That's what I call one story. Well, actually, if you count Dan, it's 5, because I throw Dan in there too. DJ Dan. And then the next story we start is Kids in the School. That's what I call it. So we see 3 kids in the car, 2 guys and a girl, right?
Yeah, they're teenagers.
And they're watching a police video of a crime scene. It was a murder that took place a year ago, Christmas, right?
Christmas Eve, I think.
Yes. 2 children or kids, not children, kids, teenagers were killed, a boy and a girl in the school.
Yeah, and they're showing the video of the crime scene. So
yes, this is the police walkthrough of the crime scene.
And the boy is nailed to the wall.
Yes. And there's writing on the wall.
Did you write down what it said?
I did not.
No.
Was unto us a child is born.
And a son is taken away or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then as they're walking around, a body falls from the ceiling, Karen. And I jumped.
I definitely jumped.
Apparently this was a girl who was tied to the pipes by her feet or something, and she fell. That's what they say later, anyway. And I wrote, this is a school project of some sort.
Yeah.
For these kids.
Yeah, they look like AV kids or something. Or they're doing a project. One's filming, one's a sound guy, one's a reporter.
And then a girl named Caprice arrives, and somehow she has keys to the school.
Yeah, she stole them from somewhere, but I don't really get how she got them.
So she's
supposed to open all the doors in the school. Sorry.
Correct. That is important. So she basically leaves the keys with them, and then she goes away with her family. And the boy who we learn is Dylan is Caprice's boyfriend.
Yeah, they have their hands all over each other.
He's kind of like the producer, right? Or camera. He's the camera guy.
I think he's holding the camera. Yeah,
he's the cameraman. So Dylan is the cameraman. Ben is the sound guy. And Molly is the on-screen talent, as they say, Karen.
Yeah, you'll probably have to remind me of that. I couldn't figure out their names. Molly, I could, but the two boys I confused.
Yes. So Caprice gets in the car with her family, and this starts the next story, which is I call Family in the Car, Karen.
That's what I called it.
And they're driving along, and apparently Dad wants a happy, loving family.
The mom calls that a Christmas miracle. They're going to his aunt's house. That is not a car full of happy right there.
No, it is not. You know what kind of car that is, Karen?
No.
I don't either.
Oh, thank God. It's like a minivan or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. But as they're driving along, they pass another family in a pickup truck pulled off to the side of the road. And they're getting out to apparently cut down a Christmas tree.
Which I had is the policeman from the video, correct?
Yes, Karen, it was the cop in the video.
Yeah, they're
The
stopped
crime
on the
scene
side
video.
of the
And
road.
they start
Yes.
on the side of the road, and they are going to get a Christmas tree. They come to a fence that says no trespassing, but he says, let's just go anyway. And they jump it.
Yeah,
right?
the wife's uncomfortable with this whole thing. She doesn't want to steal a tree.
No.
And so they're walking onto private property to cut down the tree. And you see here that the kid has asthma, that he has to use his inhaler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to the kids at the school, and we learn they're shooting a documentary about the murders that happened a year ago. And as they're walking around the school,
Well, they say the killer's still at large.
yes,
They do say that.
and as they're walking around the school, using the keys provided to them by Caprice, they hear someone else in the school, and they realize it's the principal. He's there as well. And they try to find a place to hide, and they go into a door that says restricted area, no student entry.
Yeah. And they end up in a stairwell.
And then we cut back to the family in the car, Karen. Celeste and her family in the car.
Caprice, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, Caprice.
Is it Caprice?
Caprice and her family are going to her Aunt Edda's house. Is that who it is?
I just said it's the aunt.
Edda. It is Edda. Aunt Edda. And they are going to surprise her, Karen, we learn.
Yeah. The aunt has money. It's a big house that they arrive at. And there's a dude outside cutting logs with a chainsaw.
Chainsaw, yeah, who is
Yeah.
Gerhardt, we learn.
He's creepy looking. I recognized him, and it took me a while, but I know you don't watch Supernatural, but on that show, he played Death.
Oh, it's a good role.
He has that look. He's very elegant, but creepy looking at the same time.
We don't see much of him in this,
No,
to
but
be honest.
because I recognized him, that's how I picture him.
And Caprice, right? Her brother Duncan, it's kind of messing with a Krampus figure.
Yeah, they're kind of in this grand sitting room. The dad is talking to the aunt about how his mom and she had difficulties. And in the background of that, the son's playing with some figurines. One is Santa and one is Krampus.
Yes. And Aunt Edda yells at him, don't touch that, when he picks up the Krampus figure. She tells him that it's very old. And
I said,
Dad
the aunt screeches at him.
and Dad asks his aunt, can we go into a room and talk privately? I'd like to show you something. Some shit like that. And they do. And then as soon as they leave, Mom pours herself a drink from the bar.
Yeah, she helps herself to a drink and the daughter steals a lighter.
Yes, she does. And then Gerhardt enters, and Duncan is still messing with the figurine, even though he's told not to touch it. Little asshole. But Gerhardt begins to tell the legend of Krampus.
Yeah, he says on Krampusnacht, the demon hunts the wicked from sunset to sunrise.
And Krampusnacht is December 5th, right? We've already established that like last week.
Yeah, but they're taking, what do you call it, literary license, and they've moved it to Christmas Eve.
Yes, they have. And then Duncan, the little boy, purposely knocks the figure off the whatever it's on and breaks it.
Yeah, after the, what's his name?
Gerhardt.
Gerhardt says Krampus comes for little boys who touch things they shouldn't.
Yes.
So Duncan, being the jerk he is, knocks
Oops.
Krampus off the table
And he
accidentally
says,
on purpose.
Whoops.
Yeah, remember when you used to say that?
Whoops.
Accidentally on purpose, knocked it off. And the mom scolds Duncan.
Yeah, tells him, pick it up. Let's go pick this up. What are you thinking? Deep down, she's a good mom, even though she's kind of a bitch in the car to her husband.
Well, that doesn't make you not a good mom because you're mad at your husband.
I guess.
But yeah, she is embarrassed that he did that and says, pick it up, and says, we'll pay for it. And
Right.
she apologizes for him.
But the aunt tells them they all have to leave. Then we
Yeah,
cut back to Santa's castle, Karen. And Santa is reviewing the weather forecast with the elves.
Yeah, he's getting his suit ready. They're like they had to take it out a little, and he was proud of that.
And one elf begins coughing like he is ill.
And he's not hungry, which apparently is a big deal.
Yes, he does. Mrs. Claus comes in and brings Christmas cookies, but Shiny, the elf, does not want any.
Yeah, so Shiny loses his shit and chops his own hand.
Yeah. He takes a hatchet and whacks his own hand, I wrote, and his blood splatters on all the other elves standing around him.
That's what I said. His blood spurts on everyone.
Right, Karen. Then we cut back to the Christmas tree family. And they have apparently found a tree and they are dragging it through the woods. Or mom and dad is.
Mom and dad is.
Or whatever.
Your mom wouldn't be happy with
I know
that.
she would not be.
Greg's mom's an English teacher.
She was an English teacher.
Once an English teacher, always an English teacher. That never goes away. Yeah, so the mom and dad are in front of the child. They're pulling the tree through the snow, and the child's kind of lagging behind a little bit. The son hears something and stops, and the parents keep going, chatting, and then kind of notice. They turn around, and Will is the little boy's name.
And they try to find him.
Yeah, they're freaking out.
And they find his inhaler in the snow, but they can't find little Will. Then
They're calling for him. Yeah.
They come upon a huge hollow tree.
That's what I said. Huge. It's a very big tree.
And they find the boy in the tree.
Yes.
They go back to their car and put the Christmas tree in the pickup truck. Then we see a large man watching them from a snowmobile.
Yeah, I thought it was Santa, but it's not. But Will doesn't look quite right, the little boy.
Well, I don't have that yet, but
I do.
very shortly.
I said Will looks possessed.
So, had you read anything before you watched this?
No.
Okay, so I did. I read the whole plot and story on Wikipedia.
Cheater.
So I kind of knew.
Oh, well, I didn't do that.
So
you prepared.
Well, I should have asked you before, but notice anything interesting about the weatherman
What?
when you were watching it?
Not until later.
Okay, so you didn't notice right off the bat?
No, I didn't.
See, I
Because
thought
I didn't
thought I probably would when I was watching it, but I already knew, so I didn't know. Right?
I didn't really pay, because what happens is when the weatherman and Dangerous Dan are talking, the weatherman he writes something on a legal pad and holds it up to the window. Does it say "fuck Christmas"? That's what drew my attention, not what he looked like.
And he was in a dark room too, so it was kind of hard to see.
But they kind of drew your attention away a little bit from him to the note that he wrote.
Right. And we're back to the kids in the school, Karen. And as they're walking around, they stumble upon an old part of the school, which was originally a convent or something.
Yeah, they went down the stairs because they were stuck. They couldn't go out because the principal was out there. So they went down the stairs.
And apparently, Molly tells a story about there was a virgin birth or some shit. And the girl died trying to abort her baby. Yeah,
there's in the basement, it looks like there's a bunch of records and boxes and stuff. And apparently what this area or what this building was before it was a school was a place for unwed mothers. that was run by the nuns. Nuns never, ever look good in movies. Nuns are always evil, but there was a girl who claimed apparently that she was a virgin and the nuns made her abort the baby, basically.
And she died
Yes.
while she was trying to abort her own baby, is what Molly said.
No, I didn't.
That's what she said.
Well, I just said the nuns made her, but I don't know. Sorry.
And then they're walking along and the door shuts behind them.
But one of the boys says to Molly, well, you've got that covered. You're a virgin.
Yeah, it's probably
So-
Dylan. He's a dick.
Yeah. And that comes
Dylan-
up later.
Dylan
so-
begins with a D, just like Dick. So
But I thought that was a shitty thing to say, but it comes up later.
then they are
They find the room
investigating,
that they're looking for. Yeah.
right, and they find a bloody examining table, is what I wrote.
Oh, they walk past that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they find the room where the murders took place the year before. The room from the video they were watching.
Now, would you do that? Would you go into, if the murderer had not been found, would you go into a building like that when you were 17? Not now, not when you have some sense. I'm talking about when you were 17. Would you go back?
When I was 17, I might not have, but I would now.
Really? If the murderer was still out there?
Yeah, I would now.
No, no way. I wouldn't do it at all. No.
No, when I was 17, I would have been more scared. That's what kept me away from the police stations, Karen.
Oh, excellent. Fear.
Yeah, or smart, whatever. Call it what you want.
So you're not smart now, is basically what you're saying. You're
Now
smarter
I'm-
at 17.
now I'm not a punk kid. I can, probably get away with more.
Now you're an old man. We couldn't run away. They would catch us so fast.
No, but I can probably talk my way out of it better.
You can't talk murderers out of murder.
Well, it's a different thing. Are we talking, I'm getting caught by the police in a room where a murder happened? Or am I getting caught by the murderer in the room where the murderer happened?
Well, either, but I was talking more about the murderer because the murderer has not been found. Would you go back into the room and do a report for school? Which there's no way the school is going to give you a good grade on that because you snuck into the school.
Yes, true. John would go with me.
John would go 100% from age 8 on.
And he would be armed. So I would be good.
That's true. He would be armed. Okay, fine. Whatever. Just saying I wouldn't.
Yeah. And then we see a ghost in the hallway for like a split second. Do you see that? Like behind Dylan or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Young
there's
girl standing there because the sound guy, he separates from them.
No, it's Ben at this point. Ben,
He
the sound
hears
guy.
something and he says, do you hear that? And then he walks out and separates because I write, no, don't do that. And he sees an apparition of the young girl standing for a second.
Well, he doesn't see it. It's behind him.
Is it
We
behind
see
him?
it,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Molly with a Virgin Mary statue,
Right.
a very phallic Virgin Mary statue, I thought.
Okay. I didn't
Whatever.
notice that. You make everything. Only you could make the Virgin Mary dirty.
Then we cut back to the family in the car.
Well,
and
wait, her eyes bleed.
Virgin Mary's does?
Yeah.
Oh,
Her
I
eyes
didn't-
start to bleed.
Okay. That's cool. Didn't notice that. Then we cut back to the family in the car. So this is
Okay.
Caprice and her family. And they had just left
Oh.
their aunt's house.
Oh, okay. The dad's pissed.
Yeah, because apparently he was hitting her up for money for his whatever the hell it was. But the kids all know the sales pitch because
They mouth it along with
mouth it.
him.
along with him. Yeah.
He's like, you couldn't act normal for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then I think that,
You probably haven't heard that kind of speech, but
no, I
we
haven't.
definitely have. We probably still do. You couldn't be normal for 5 minutes.
But Caprice does say that she didn't make them leave because she was mad. It's because she was scared.
Yeah, that was kind of insightful on Caprice's part.
Yeah. Well, maybe she's special, Karen.
And the mom defends the son. And yeah,
Yeah, as moms do.
They do.
And then as they're driving along, something runs in front of the car and they slide off the road and are stuck in the snow. Next, cut back to the kids in the school again, recording their documentary. And they find that the writing on the wall that was in the police video is still there, but it is very faint. And they kind of get creeped out about it. And they go to leave.
Yeah, Molly knows it's from the Bible. She knows, she quotes what verse, but it's basically about the birth of Jesus.
So they try to get the door open, but it is locked and none of their keys work, Karen.
One other thing to note is she does report about the kids. She names them. Connor, who was crucified with his neck broken, and Jenna mutilated and hanging from the pipes. So it's Connor and Jenna. But yeah, they're stuck at the top. The keys that worked to open the door when they first got there are not working now to let them out.
And none of their phones work. They have no cell service, even though they have plenty of bars, Karen.
Yep,
no
they just
cell service.
So they start banging on the door.
Next, we cut back to the Christmas tree family, and they're putting up the tree. Dad is decorating the tree in their house, and he asks the son for his help, and the son grabs an ornament and hands it to Dad, and Dad hangs it up, but it's a completely different ornament than what the son gives him. I wrote.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
I did say it's a beautiful
different.
tree. It is a lovely tree that they got. And the
Then,
kid won't smile nicely.
He hasn't spoken since they found him.
And
right?
I wrote again, acts like he's possessed.
So then they're eating spaghetti, or he is eating spaghetti. And here's where I wrote, that boy ain't right.
They're eating dinner and Will is cramming it in.
He's shoveling spaghetti into his mouth. His dad goes to take the plate of spaghetti and the boy stabs him with a fork in his hand.
Yeah, and the dad gets very angry, like he's going to punish him, but the mom steps in and says she'll handle it.
Yes. And mom sends the boy to his room.
Yeah. So the dad was putting presents underneath the tree, all wrapped up very nicely. Whenever I see something like that, it makes me laugh because I don't know if I've told you how my mom would put our presents under the tree. As we've talked about many times, there are 5 of us. That's, a lot of work for my mom. So she used to put them in garbage bags, big, hefty bags, not wrapped. They would just go in a bag and the bag would have your name on it. I thought that's genius, man, because we don't care, right? We come running around to go in there with Santa's left our presents. Does it matter that it's wrapped? No. So they weren't wrapped, but they had each big old hefty bag had your name on it. But yours were probably all wrapped, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Because you were an only.
Yes. Karen, I always had a gift from mom and dad, or from mom, from dad. And I had a gift from Santa that was wrapped. And I had a gift from Frosty that was wrapped.
Aww.
And I had a gift from the elves that was wrapped.
Nice.
Nothing big and elaborate, mind you, but still.
No, we didn't have, no. What was your favorite Christmas gift ever? Can you think of it?
I'm kind of torn. I got bikes twice.
That's nice.
Like when I was a kid, I got my first bike.
Yeah. That's a big one.
It was a huffy bike with racing stripes on it and had a cheater slick on the back tire. So
makes it go extra fast.
Yes. Banana seat,
Oh, the old banana seat.
Oh,
yeah,
man. That was bad shit. But then when I got older, I got a 10-speed too, but then I also got my Daisy BB gun too. So
probably, you did.
Yeah. One of those.
Did you shoot an eye out?
No. Look at me, Karen.
I didn't mean just yours.
I have both eyes. No, I did not. What about you, Karen? Do you have a favorite Christmas gift?
I was trying to think of that, and I couldn't really think of one. The only one I remember, I don't know if it was my favorite, but I remember I got this doll when I was, and
if you remember it, it was probably
it must be special,
meaningful.
but
yeah.
I wasn't a kid that played with dolls, but for some reason I wanted this doll called Thumbelina, and she really turned over. That's what and so she would be sleeping and then she would turn over. And for some reason I really wanted that doll and I got it. And I remember my grandma was there and everything for that Christmas. So I don't know if it was that or what I really wanted for a very long time was an easy bake oven, of course. But my mom refused to buy it. And she kept saying that we could bake in our own oven. And my sister and I thought that was the stupidest thing we'd ever heard. So when we were about 40, my mom bought us easy bake ovens for our birthdays.
But did she teach you how to bake in the real oven?
She did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We did.
what
bake
more
in
do
the
you
real
want?
oven. Well, I wanted the easy bake oven. It's still
you
up
wanted
in
a
my
piece
closet.
of plastic with a
I
light
know.
bulb in it.
That's what my mom, I'm sure that's what my mom was saying, where you'd have to buy the little mixes that cost too much when it was
The
marketing.
refill mixes. Yes.
Yeah, it was all marketing, whatever.
The
Anyway,
refill brownie mixes and shit. But
yeah, it's still in my closet.
which was
I'll
like
have to-
1/100th of a regular brownie mix.
Yes.
Okay.
And probably cost the same.
Probably did.
I'm sure.
All
My
right.
mom was a wise woman. I was not.
Next, we cut back to DJ Dan, as you call him, Dangerous Dan. And he's
I
talking.
call him Shatner.
Yes. And he begins talking about the murders that happened a year ago. And as he's talking, he grabs a Christmas card behind him. It has a picture of the family who are currently stuck in the car on the side of the road.
See, I'm not
On the
sure
front of
that's
it.
true.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Because he talks about the kids.
He does.
He says, remember the kids, the one
He
who aren't with us anymore. And he's the grandfather of one of the murdered kids.
He is not, I don't think. Because he pulls that card and he opens it before we see the front. And it says, Merry Christmas, Grandpa. And then he closes it and it's the family that is currently stuck on the road in the car on the front.
All right, hold on. I'm going to look.
And they
it
don't
up.
look very fucking happy either.
Well, I guess that's true, but I could swear that he was the grandfather of one of the murdered kids.
And that's kind of what I read, but that is not the truth.
Well, he could be he could have more than one kid,
I guess. But But the family on the Christmas card is the family that is currently stuck in the car on the side of the road.
Okay. I believe you. I didn't notice that. I thought because he was talking about the kids who weren't with us anymore, I assumed it was the murdered kid.
I know I read that somewhere too, but now I'm looking for it. I don't see it. But anyway, that's what I saw. So
Okay.
I don't know what else to tell you.
I didn't notice it.
And we cut back to Santa's castle and the elves are becoming infected, Karen.
Well, Shiny dies and elves can't die. So
Right.
Santa knows something's up.
Yeah. And then the elves start becoming zombies.
They do.
And at this point, he's telling his wife about this and he begins sharpening his staff on
He does.
the fireplace, the bricks on the fireplace.
The elves are becoming the Walking Dead.
Yeah. And Santa bars the door. He pushes a desk or something in front of it, but the elves break through anyway. I think is it Shiny? I don't know. For the first one that comes through, but yeah,
I think it is.
Santa chops the top of his head off, like the cranium.
Right. You can see his brain.
Yes. And then he throws another through a window.
Yeah. Santa's defending himself well here.
As you would. Next, we cut back to the kids in school, Karen. And they're looking for another way out, but they discover that all the windows are barred. They're walking around and they discover the mannequins from the nativity scene. Although at first one of them doesn't look like a mannequin.
I know it kind of freaked me out a little bit.
And then Molly begins lighting candles. And Ben, the sound man, starts talking about his family's tradition of opening one gift on Christmas Eve. Did you do that, Karen? Did everyone get to open one gift or did you open all your gifts on Christmas Eve? Some people do that. I don't know.
No. Well, we opened most of them on Christmas. Every once in a while, my mom's family would do that, but my dad's family did not. So every once in a while, my mom would let us open the gift that came from out of state, like her family. So we could open that one sometimes.
Well, my
So-
mom and dad were married on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
So their wedding anniversary was Christmas Eve. So they always gave each other an anniversary gift on Christmas Eve. And they let me pick one present under the tree to open.
nice.
And it was usually my aunt because, the good presents weren't under there yet.
Was
So
it
I
socks
usually-
and underwear?
I usually opened up a present for my aunt. But yeah, I got to open one gift on Christmas Eve. Christmas is my mother's favorite holiday, Karen.
Was my mom's too. But her birthday was Christmas. So,
Yes. Yep.
double whammy.
And then the sound man says, "What if the killer comes back?" And then Dylan says he's got to pee.
Which I would if I'd been there that long.
So he goes to find a bathroom and he takes Joseph's staff along with him.
To defend himself.
And then while he's gone, Molly sees a ghost. Just as he's coming back, Molly sees a ghost and she starts convulsing.
She sees a girl standing behind Ben and screams. And Dylan comes running back. And Molly's basically seizing on the floor.
Yeah. Having a seizure. Is that what that means, Dr. Karen?
Yes.
Seizing. Next, we cut back to the Christmas tree family. And Mom is taking a shower. But there are no bare breasts in this film, Karen. I'm just going to tell you right now.
I'm so sorry.
Zero bare breasts. And she gets out of the shower and she is startled by the boy.
Yeah, Will is standing there creepily.
She tells him to get out. Then she's talking to her husband and says, "Have you noticed that Will hasn't had to use his inhaler?" But Will's in his room, his window's open, and he's listening to all this as well.
Yeah, the mom's worried.
And
Why
Dad
isn't
thinks
he?
that's great. Well,
Yeah,
good.
he poo-poos it, drinks a beer in front of the Christmas tree, and
Dad has a beer on the couch listening to Dan the DJ. That's what I wrote.
yep,
as you do. Because Mom kicked him out of the bedroom.
yeah, they have a little moment, and she says
Apparently this
basically,
family has issues.
yeah. Well, I don't think he's quite the same since last
No,
Christmas.
I don't think he is either.
Again,
'cause
he
he
was
was-
the cop investigating the murders. So
Correct.
she says, "Not tonight, honey," basically.
And then we see Mom asleep in bed. But Karen, there is something moving under the covers.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
And Dad is asleep on the couch.
Something's coming from the corner.
Yes, Karen. And we see a small hand coming up from the under the covers, correct?
Yeah, it's something molests the mom.
That's the feeling I get. And Mom
she-
wakes up
Yeah, and nothing's there.
and it disappears. Then she goes in to check on Will, and he's in bed, but she sees the window is open. She goes to shut it. And as she is walking away, we see the reflection in the window, Karen, correct?
Yeah, he's possessed.
And he's a monster. Next, we cut back to the family in the car, and they are walking through the woods, Karen. They've left their vehicle stuck in the snowbank and are walking through the woods.
Yeah, I wrote they should have stayed in the car.
And I think and this is where the boy says something about Krampus knocked. And I'm like, it's not Krampus knocked.
Yeah,
But
this is
whatever.
where they're taking, I think, it's poetic license is what they call it. The son says it's officially Krampus knocked.
No, it's not. But
I
whatever.
know, but they're moving the story along.
Okay. And then something hits the dad and he begins bleeding from the gut. And he asks, "Was I shot?" And no one knows. They don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, and the boy wanders off so they're walking through the woods with a flare.
With a flare, yeah.
Yeah, and when he gets sliced in the gut, he obviously dropped it kind of like threw the flare. So the boy
Yeah.
goes to get it.
Boy goes to get it. Duncan goes to get it. And just as he grabs it, like a chain comes out and wraps around him and he's pulled away into the woods, right?
Yes.
And then he leaves the flare. He drops it. And then it goes out.
Yeah.
And there is no service on their cell phones. And Caprice convinces them that they need to run. Mom wants to stay. This mom is better than the Krampus mom, right?
Right. This mom wants to find her son, but the dad is up and standing up. So,
And he startles them, but
yeah, the three of them do run.
they do. They run. Then we cut back to Santa's castle. and Santa gets in an elevator as the elves come running, Karen.
Which is playing Christmas music, which I thought
Of
was a
course
nice
it is.
touch. That was nice.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, the elves are coming at him. Yeah.
Elevator door opens. Santa walks out, and all the elves are decapitated.
Yeah. So he is fighting them off, and some actually do get into the elevator with him. And then when the elevator opens, like you said, he is triumphant. He's the only one left. And I wrote, Santa won. The elves are very foul-mouthed.
That's what I wrote too.
Through this whole thing. But Santa is a badass. Like Santa is just taking control of the situation and, just killing these elves left and right. I mean, he is throwing them off of him,
He's a
decapitating.
killing machine.
He is. It's almost like Superman or something. He's really.
It's like he's done this before, isn't it, Karen?
Well, I don't know about that, but he does seem rather calm in the situation. But the elves, the things they say are very foul, but very funny.
Yeah.
Actually.
And then before Santa exits the elevator, he kills Shiny for final.
For good. Yeah.
Next, we cut back to Dan, the DJ, and he goes to check in with Norman at the food drive down at the mall, but there's nothing but feedback. And
yeah,
Dan,
he calls it technical difficulties.
Dan makes himself another spiked eggnog, Karen.
That's why we're drinking eggnog.
Spiked eggnog.
Right along with Dangerous Dan.
Next, we cut back to the Christmas tree family again. Dad wakes up on the couch and finds that some of the presents are opened, and he's fucking pissed.
Well, ornaments are smashed, and yeah.
Dad is going to whip Will with a belt, and Will smiles at Dad.
Well, and Mom protects Will. So I was wondering at this point, is the kid Mom's only? I kind of got the feeling that,
Yes.
That the son maybe wasn't the policeman's, but was from a previous marriage or something. I don't know. Just the way the couple interacted, it kind of felt like maybe she was his mom and he was the stepdad, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe he just wasn't around much. I don't know. But it seems like
she what has he tells Will. He says, hey, sorry, as they're decorating the tree earlier, he says, sorry, I wasn't around much last year. And the kid's pretty young, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Just seems like Mom's a lot closer and protects him.
Yeah. As Roy wrote, apparently the family has issues. Mom tells Dad to get out.
Yeah, she's holding Will to protect him. And
Dad has a drink. And Mom puts Will to bed. And as she does, the phone rings. And apparently it's the guy who owns the land that they cut the tree down from, right?
It is, yeah.
And he asks if something happened to their boy.
Yeah, he asks about the son, yeah.
He basically tells her to bring the changeling back to the forest where they lost the boy.
Okay, do you want to know what a changeling is?
I know what a changeling is, but for our listener,
just in case our listener doesn't know, well, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So a changeling is the child of a supernatural being that is switched for a human baby. The changeling appears in the folklore of many European countries, and references to the changeling may be found from time to time in modern popular culture. According to legend, fairies, trolls, and other creatures desire human babies either to raise as their own or to use as servants, and they secretly steal babies and replace them with their own offspring or a bewitched inanimate object. Human parents are said to be able to recognize the changeling by its ugliness or its odd or wicked behavior. Did your mom think you were a changeling?
Karen, I was a good boy.
Oh, I keep forgetting that.
But basically, the man tells Mom that is not her son, and she hangs up on him. Next, we cut back to the kids in the school, Karen. They're still in the room with the mannequins, and they fall asleep. And Molly starts acting weird. Or I guess Ben falls asleep.
I think they were all asleep.
But then Molly starts acting weird. And then Molly lures Dylan away to another room, to the room where the murders happened, right?
Right.
And tries to seduce him.
In the murder room.
Yes. But Dylan says, Molly, you know this isn't going to happen. I have a girlfriend.
Which was surprising for Dylan. I was impressed.
Next, we cut back to the Christmas tree family, and Dad is looking through old case files. Looks like the case from a year ago, the
Yeah, it's the
murders.
kids. Yeah.
And Mom is on the computer in her room, Googling changeling.
Yes, she is.
And Dad is drinking Southern Comfort. And I am drinking Southern Comfort eggnog, Karen. Although it's non-alcoholic, but I fixed that.
Oh, you mean the brand of your eggnog?
Yes.
Okay.
And Dad goes to Will's door of his bedroom and kind of like apologizes from outside, right? Saying, hey, sorry, kind of lost my head, whatever.
Yeah.
And he pulls the door shut. And there's a shadow on the ceiling.
Yep.
Is that behind Dad?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. And then Mom hears noises. Mom grabs a baseball bat. She goes out to investigate.
Yep.
And we see Dad has a belt around his neck and his hand is cut off.
Yeah.
He's laying by the tree.
What's the significance of his hand being cut off? Do you know?
Don't know.
I felt like I missed something there. I think it was his left hand. I don't know. I just thought I missed something, but.
Well, from the left hand of power comes the father of lies, Karen. But other than that, I got nothing. Next, cut back to the family in the car. They are running through the snow because, of course, I'm not in the car anymore.
Well, they're heading towards a church, right?
Well, they find a church. Yeah. They all run in and Caprice bars the door.
Yeah, she's taking control of this situation, which I thought was kind of impressive for her.
And Mom is worried about Duncan. But Dad tells them they're in a church. They should confess their sins to protect them from Krampus, right? That's his theory.
He's hoping, yeah.
And Caprice confesses that she stole a lighter from the aunt's house. Basically, she's a klepto.
Yeah, she's a shoplifter.
She's not into sex, drugs, and all that shit, but she steals shit, right? That's what she says, basically.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not sure she's not into sex, from what we saw with her and Dylan earlier, but whatever. And she tells Mom and Dad that Duncan killed all their pets.
Yeah, that was creepy.
He's
and
a little serial killer.
Yeah, he's a psychopath.
And then Dad admits that there is no business. He just made it up and he just keeps hitting people up for money to pay the bills.
Well, he didn't make it up. It failed. Bioplex was what it was. That there's no money. Like it didn't work, whatever he was trying to do. And they're going to lose everything.
And he's going to jail, he says.
Yeah. And the mom doesn't confess anything.
No, but he did it all for her, Karen.
Yes.
All for her, to give her, fancy things and nice things and whatever.
He can't believe a woman like her would be with a guy like him.
And Mom apologizes to him for nothing, right? Except being a bitch, maybe. Making him do that shit.
She didn't make him do it. He did it himself.
Okay, whatever. And then a chain comes through the window and wraps around Dad's neck, and he is pulled out. He gone.
Yep.
I wrote. And Caprice and Mom hiding in the confessional, ? Is that where they're hiding?
Yep.
Because I've never been in one, so I don't know what
That's what it is. It's okay. A confessional.
That's kind of what I figured. And there's growling outside in the church. And I believe Caprice says, there's something on my leg.
Yeah.
And apparently the tongue from Krampus has come up under the door and
wrapped around her leg.
Feeling her leg. Then Mom stabs at it with something, or does she stomp it with her?
I don't know.
Whatever those fucking heeled shoes are.
Stilettos,
yeah. Don't know. Well, I know she wasn't walking in the snow with those, was she?
Well,
she can't be wearing those.
She does comment that she didn't wear her snow boots or something when they were walking originally.
She stabs it with something and she says, run. And Krampus kills Mom.
That's the mom sacrifices herself.
Next, we cut back to the kids in school, Karen.
Do you want to hear a little about Krampus?
Yeah. Tell me about Krampus.
I couldn't find what I was really looking for, which was kind of his origin stories, like from the pagan. But
He's Saint Nick's partner.
well, yes, Krampus is the dark companion of Saint Nicholas, the traditional European winter gift giver who rewards good children each year on December 6th. The kindly old saint leaves the task of punishing bad children to a hell-bound counterpart known as Krampus. Usually seen as a classic devil with horns, cloven hooves, and monstrous tongue, he punishes the naughty children, swatting them with switches and rusty chains before dragging them in baskets to a fiery place below. So Krampus is celebrated on Krampusnacht, which takes place on the eve of St. Nicholas Day. He's taken from pagan ritual. I think he's the son of hell or something, but
Oh, come on now.
it's the Norse.
I don't think there was hell in pagan ritual.
Well, no, the god Hel, like Hel, which might be where Christians got the name for hell. Who knows?
Okay.
But
back to the kids in school, Karen. And Molly has 2 flashlights now.
yeah, that doesn't
One
bode
in
well
each
for
hand.
Dylan. Yeah.
And Ben asks about Dylan.
Well, she wakes Ben up. He's sleeping.
Yeah. And Molly says he is in the room, but she wanted to stay there with Ben. And then Molly tries to seduce Ben, and she succeeds.
Yeah, she does, because Ben likes her. You can see that back in the first scene at the car. He gives her the puppy dog eyes, but you can just see he likes her.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a hard thing to do to seduce him.
No. And once they're done doing their deeds, Molly backs up and says, "What the fuck did you do to me?" And then Ben's like, "What do you mean? What did I do to you? What did you do to me?" Right?
Yeah, she's all of a sudden Molly's not possessed anymore and she doesn't know what happened.
Right.
There's blood on her. I don't know
Yes.
if that's supposed to be because she was a virgin
That's
or
what I
because
thought.
perhaps what happened in the other room.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Next, we cut back to the Christmas tree family, Karen. Mom calls back the guy who owned the land where they cut down the tree.
Yeah, who called her earlier.
Yeah. He tells her to bring Will back to the grove where they lost him. But the changeling cannot feel threatened. So be careful what you do, right? You have to lure him out there without making him feel threatened. And we see Will staring at his dead dad under the tree.
Well, he's playing with the dad's cut off hand.
Yes, he is. And Mom asks Will if you want to go for a ride. And she has a baseball bat in one hand.
Right. He feels threatened.
And Will isn't buying it, I wrote. And Mom hits Will with the bat. And then Will jumps on his mom's back and I think he bites her.
Yeah.
And they struggle.
She fights him.
And she beats him with a bat. And
She violently subdues him with the baseball bat.
then we cut back to Santa in the castle again. And they're in the mail. He's in the mail room.
The male. Okay.
And of course, the elves start attacking again. Santa decapitates one, and one of the elves bites Santa. Which wouldn't that make him a zombie?
I don't know. I just wrote Santa decapitates. He's superhuman, brutal.
Kills them
And-
all with his staff.
Yes.
I wrote. And he decapitates one of them with a paper slicer.
Yes.
You know the thing he used to cut paper with?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just brutal. That's what I'm saying. They are just attacking him and he's throwing them off and decapitating and killing them all.
And he kills one with the head of another.
It's chaotic and brutal.
Next, we cut back to Dan, the DJ, Karen. And apparently there's some chaos at the mall. Police and emergency crews are on the scene. Still no word from Norman, who has a master's degree from Columbia or something depressing like that, Dan says.
Yes.
And Dan has started drinking bourbon straight from the bottle now, Karen. He's not drinking the nog anymore. He's just drinking bourbon right from the bottle.
I think he's out of the nog.
Next, we cut back to the Christmas tree family. And Mom is outside in the woods with a lantern and a bat. Apparently
Dragging a bag.
Yeah, apparently where they lost Will. She brings the changeling back to the man. The man says he does not know where Will is. In
He's
the chaos,
creepy too.
Well,
Yeah, he's telling her that he calls them trolls, and he knows how to control them.
yeah. Tough
He-
love, Karen. Tough love.
Basically, it sounds like they're afraid of him. Yeah. And she has a gun. He says, "Don't point it at me."
But in the chaos, she ends up killing him, shooting him and killing him. And then when I wrote, now there is no one to control the changelings. That's what I wrote. But she asked the changeling for her baby boy. 'Cause
She
apparently-
begs him.
Yeah, she asked
Yeah.
the man, but he
He
says
can't do it.
it's
Yeah.
not up to him. And then we see Will come out of the hollow tree in his underwear.
Yeah, the troll goes in and gives her back her son, or
And
the
she's-
changeling.
And
Yeah.
she says, let's go home. Oh, happy ending. Except Dad's dead. Dad's lying in your living room under the tree.
And she killed someone. So I don't know.
Next, we cut back to the kids in the school. And Ben is looking for Dylan. As they're looking, Molly sees the nuns and the girl who aborted her baby. She opens the
guess.
door and yeah. But then they find Dylan. He's got a cross like stabbed in his head or some shit.
Yeah. And they hear a baby crying.
And he gone. And then Molly figures out that the ghost girl wants her to carry her son.
Grace is her name.
But last year, the two students, the guy and the girl, they wouldn't do it. So she killed him.
Basically, they wouldn't have sex with each other.
Yeah. But they did. So then we see a ghost with a fetus. That's what I wrote.
Well, yeah, she's carrying. Yeah.
And the ghost pins Ben against the wall, kind of like the kid from last year, and breaks his neck. He's like crucified on the wall, right?
Yeah, which is totally not fair because he
I
did
know.
what she wanted.
I know. He did what he's supposed to do.
What she wanted him to do, and she
Right.
killed him anyway. I thought that was rude.
Yeah. Rude. Then the ghost touches Molly's abdomen and the door opens and she leaves. And Molly goes upstairs.
She leaves singing. So I don't know if Molly's possessed or pregnant.
Well, she's
or
pregnant.
what, but all the doors open so she can leave. She's not locked in anymore.
Nope.
But she's kind of singing. So was it the ghost singing? Was it her singing? I don't know. Was the ghost in her? I couldn't figure that out. But Molly survives.
Next, we cut back to the family in the car, but of course, they haven't been in the car for a while. And Caprice arrives back at the aunt's house, her great
Yeah,
aunt.
she made it all back. She made it all the way back to her great aunt's house.
And she bangs on the door and pleads for help. And Krampus comes running after her. But somehow Caprice impales Krampus through the neck with a stick or some shit.
Yeah.
Then she douses him with gasoline and uses the lighter she stole from her great aunt to engulf him in flames.
To light him up.
Yes, and as he's burning, it turns back into Gerhardt.
It was a pretty good looking Krampus. Did you think?
It was all right.
Well, for CGI, or was it CGI or was it a
I don't know.
mask? He was all
Uh,
white.
In the credits, there is someone who is credited as Krampus.
Oh, okay.
Canadian actor and stuntman. So he's probably a big dude. Next, we see Aunt Etta and Caprice by the fireplace.
She got in.
The
Yeah.
huge fireplace. And the aunt says it's almost dawn and they will
Yeah,
be
so they're gonna be safe.
soon. Yeah. And then Caprice confronts her great aunt.
Well, her aunt says Krampus is a Christmas spirit and it can fill anyone with a black, angry heart. So it wasn't that Gerhardt was Krampus. He was an angry person with a black heart. So Krampus could fill him. So the daughter is now pissed
Yeah.
because she says you sacrificed my family to Krampus. So Greg, she has anger in her heart.
Yes, she does. She has a black heart at this moment.
So
As I would. So Caprice turns into Krampus. First her eyes get black and
it's pretty cool.
yeah, it is pretty cool. So Aunt Edna gone.
Yeah.
Next we cut back to Dan the DJ. And he's telling people, just stay away from the mall. Pray for a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, he's
Don't
pretty
know
drunk
how many
at this point.
hostages there are. Next, we cut back to Santa's castle, quote unquote. Room number 3, storage.
Yep.
Santa picks up an axe from a dead elf, and we cut back.
No, he finds Mrs. Claus in the storage area.
Yeah.
She's in there
And
with a light.
he says, Martha, is that you? And then we learn that Martha has turned.
Right.
She's a zombie, and she attacks Santa, and Santa snaps her neck and hits her with the axe.
Yep. He kills her.
And then we see doors banging again. So we're back to where we started, where the film opened, right?
Yeah. We're at the beginning of the movie.
And the doors bust open, and it is Krampus, the vile,
enemy of Christmas.
Santa says.
Yes.
And Santa says, we end this tonight.
Exactly. So they start fighting.
So Krampus and Santa fight.
It's a pretty impressive fight, I think. They're going at it.
And then we hear, Norman, stop. Please don't kill me. Norman. Right? I think Santa says, who's Norman?
Yeah.
And it turns out that Norman is the mall Santa, and he's killed a bunch of people at the mall. Norman, the weatherman.
Stormin Norman, the weatherman, has had a psychotic break.
Yes.
And he is dressed as Santa, I think, for the food drive. I don't think he's the mall Santa necessarily. Yeah. He is for that day,
right?
But I think it's because he's there for the food drive. One of the kids that was in the school doing the project was supposed to be at the food drive. So
right, Ben was supposed to be there, but he gone. And then we see we see like shots of what's been going on with Norman.
Yeah,
in real life.
All the elves are real people,
mall workers and shoppers.
Yeah, he's lost his shit, and he's killed secretaries and like anyone and everyone in the mall. He's killed them. All the deer are knocked over. The whole place is trashed.
And we see Norman practicing his ho 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 in the mirror.
So he's remembering, I think,
yes,
that he got ready to be the Santa.
And then the police arrive and they shoot Norman many times.
Well, it takes a lot to get him to go down.
Oh, he's Santa Claus.
And he goes back into a psychotic break. He starts to try to kill someone again, and they shoot him.
And he gone. Next, we cut back to Dan, the DJ. And he says, what is up with Christmas in Bailey Downs? Is it cursed? Hug your loved ones and keep them safe.
Keep the Christmas spirit. Treat every Christmas like it's your last.
And then there's credits. And then as the credits roll, we see Dan, the DJ, again. And he's taking phone calls.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He says something about for our Asian friends. And then he says, I said Asian, right? I didn't say Oriental. I don't know which one is offensive.
Because he's really drunk now.
Yeah. And he's trying to come up with the 12 Days of Christmas things. And someone calls to correct him. And he says, oh, yeah, Lemon Piper's piping. I'm sorry. Thanks for correcting me. And then he says, Merry Christmas, everyone. And then we continue with the credits.
Oh, I didn't see that. I turned it off too soon.
The end. All right, Karen, anything you were pleasantly surprised by in this film?
I thought the Krampus was kind of cool. Well, they made him kind of modern, versus the old school kind of Krampus. It was better than I thought it was going to be, but I didn't know anything about it. So can't really either. Say. You read all about it before you watched it.
But not before you picked it. I like anthologies.
They're a little hard to follow a bit sometimes, but I like how they take you to,
This one didn't intertwine as much, but just the one time when the family in the car passed the truck with the Christmas tree family, that was the only time anything really.
Well, and Ben was supposed to be at the mall. There were little things, and Caprice was with, but Dylan, you're right. They didn't,
whatever. Yeah. But
they were little things, but they take you to like a climax in a scene, but then they cut away. So you're constantly anticipating something, which is kind of a neat way to do a movie. you're something horrible is about to happen, and then you go to some other scene, and then something horrible is going to happen there, and then you move. You kind of go up and down in your emotions.
Right. But I felt like near the end of the film, the scenes cut more. They faded to black and they stayed black longer or something. There was more so that you knew it was a different scene, it seemed to me. But I will say the first jump scare got me.
Yes. I actually yelled.
I jumped. Woo!
So
I don't know if I went woo, but I jumped.
So I don't know. I thought it was good.
Anything else pleasantly surprised? Anything?
No.
All right. What were you disappointed in?
The only thing I was kind of disappointed in, I don't know if it was disappointed or confused, I will say, because what happens at the end with Norman is that, the whole Santa workshop story turns out to be fake.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean the others were fake too? Or it just kind of threw me that why would all the others be real and that one be fake?
Because it's a movie.
Well, or because
it's a Canadian movie too. It's those pesky Canadians.
The fact that it could take place in real life is scarier, or, it just kind of was strange that one story was different, because each one of them had supernatural aspects, that you're supposed to believe. Like, why isn't Santa real if Krampus is real? It just kind of didn't have that balance. I don't know. I liked that twist. I thought it totally got me. I'm just thinking Santa's a badass. I'm just thinking, wow, he's just killing it, literally. And then
Santa! Is that what you're
I'm
doing?
like,
Yay, Santa!
Go Santa! Take out those zombie elves, because the elves were just foul. But then to have it switch like that, I thought was really cool. I guess I should say that's probably the thing I was most pleasantly surprised by, because I had no idea that was going to happen. But when it did, it also confused me, because why is this one real life? Why did they take the supernatural part out of Santa Claus and leave the rest?
Yep.
I guess is my only. That's it.
So here's what I was disappointed in.
Okay.
DJ Dan keeps motioning to his producer or someone behind
Susan. Was her name
glass.
Susan? Yeah.
So I kept expecting to see Susan in the Santa Claus, or see who Susan was and find out, oh, that's Mrs. Claus. That's what I was waiting for, and it never happened. You know what I mean?
No.
Because I kind of knew that Norman, was Santa Claus.
Okay, you knew what was happening at the mall.
Yeah.
That he
so
had
as soon as DJ Dan turned and started talking to Susan, and then we saw Mrs. Claus, and I'm like, oh, I bet that's fucking Susan. But that was never, you know what I mean? That would have made sense. I was in
but
my
she
head.
Wasn't at the mall.
I guess that's true. I was hoping for some who's Mrs. Claus and all that shit.
Oh, well, and I guess the other thing is, why doesn't Dangerous Dan, nothing supernatural happens to him?
No.
Which, is kind of strange. I expected something.
He's just there to report the facts.
I was wondering if he was going to be the puppet master or something at the end, somehow controlling all of the supernatural beings or something, but he's just a break in each story. He doesn't really say anything about the stories. I don't know why.
But he does kind of tie it all together in a way.
How?
Well, because the Christmas Tree Family dad is listening to him on the radio.
But he doesn't need to be. He could be listening to.
No.
I mean,
and he talks
it's
about
okay that he's there, but
stay
he's
away
not
from
necessary.
the mall and all that shit. But
or a little bit of detail, but nothing that couldn't have been done without him. I mean, it's
I
fine.
guess it could have been done better, but yeah, it was fine.
But it doesn't matter. He was fine. I don't mean he shouldn't have been there. He didn't need to be there. It's fine that he is.
It's Bill Shatner, Karen. He needs to be there.
Okay.
I can call him Bill because we're like that. But
do you think he was really drunk when he was doing it? Because he seems.
Rumors are he was.
Yeah, I was going to say he seems like the kind of guy that would be.
Rumors are he did during filming.
Partake.
He doesn't have much screen time.
He could do it all in a day.
Oh, he's in an hour. So he could drink the whole time if he wanted to. Sure. And rumor has it that's what he did. I've read.
Kind of looked real,
Right.
the slight slurring of the words. And we've all been there. We do it every week.
Speak for yourself, Karen.
Just listen to Maniac, kids.
Oh, you're going to bring that up again, are you?
What are
I'll
we, the
never
fi-
live that down, will I?
Now we're the family in the minivan.
All right, Karen, what kind of cocktail rating you want to give this film?
Do we give
I liked it.
Do we give Trick or Treat 2?
I probably made you give Trick or Treat too. Yeah.
You might have even given it 1.
I might have given it 1. That would not surprise me because I love it. My favorite Halloween film.
I don't think it was as good as Trick or Treat.
We gave Trick or Treat 1 cocktail.
Yeah. Then I would say 2. I would give this one 2. I really liked it.
I did too.
I thought I liked all the different supernatural aspects of it, the changeling, Krampus, the psychotic break. Everything had a completely different storyline, but somehow they fit them all together. I thought it's a cool thing to do.
I agree. Giving this one 2 cocktails.
Yeah, I highly suggest people give it a watch during the holiday season.
It is a Christmas classic.
Break out the eggnog, put a little splash in there, and
Or 2.
watch the chaos unfold.
All right, Karen. Comments on the cocktail, the spiked eggnog.
I have never put spiced rum in eggnog before. I've always put brandy. It's not something I have very often. I probably have 1 glass per Christmas season. So I'm going to say I like the spiced rum better than the brandy. So I'm digging it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to try next and then spiced rum. Because I like spiced rum.
Kind of gives it a warm winter feel,
Maybe I'll do spiced rum and Di Serono.
Well, you just go crazy. I would like to suggest, though, that anyone who drinks the eggnog buys the pasteurized version, doesn't try to make it on their own. There's a high incidence of salmonella if you make your own eggnog. So make your own eggnog at your own risk.
I think the nutmeg and cinnamon I added adds quite a bit too.
I would imagine it does. That was a good idea.
Delicious.
So you like the cocktail?
Yeah, it's good. Never had eggnog before. I approve.
We're broadening Greg's horizons with this little podcast of ours.
That's what we're doing it for.
It's all about you, Greg.
Okay.
That's fine with you. That's fine with me.
Yeah. Anything we learned today, Karen?
Well, we learned about eggnog.
Yes. The origin of eggnog.
We learned about changelings
Yes.
and a tiny bit about Krampus.
And our favorite Christmas gifts.
Yes.
And we learned my mom was an English teacher.
We learned my mom was a genius in putting things in trash bags under the Christmas
A little
tree.
bit about Christmas traditions.
Yes.
So what are we going to talk about next week, which is like we keep getting closer to Christmas. We got 2 weeks, or let's see, 2.5 weeks to Christmas. What are we going to talk about for the next 2.5 weeks?
I'll come up with something.
I'm going to rely on you to do that.
Well, it depends on where the movie takes us, Speaking of which, what movie have you chosen for next week?
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm kind of required to say that.
So, Karen, next week I have chosen the 2017 film. We're getting awful modern lately.
I know. We need to go back.
Anna and the Apocalypse.
Never heard of it.
It's a horror musical, Karen.
Oh my God.
I am looking forward to it.
How long is this movie?
Oh, that's a good question.
Better not be 2.5 hours of horror musical.
1 hour and 32 minutes.
Okay.
About the same as this one. So there you go.
What do I drink while I'm watching this?
Oh, What are we drinking?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going totally off the rails here.
Off the rails.
Yeah. No, we're going to have a salted caramel white Russian.
Okay, what do I need for that?
Just because it's my favorite Christmas drink.
Like, did you make this up or does it have a name?
Oh, no. It is. It's a salted caramel white Russian.
Oh, okay. What do I need to buy or get ready?
Okay, so you're going to need salted caramel liqueur, coffee liqueur, either Bailey's or Kahlua, right?
Wait, salted caramel Bailey's?
Yes, it's in Kroger. Kroger has it. You're going to need salted caramel vodka.
Okay.
And I'm almost out. I may have to buy more because I like this drink so much. Half and half, and caramel sauce to garnish.
So does it taste like coffee?
No, I don't like coffee.
Okay, I don't either.
Okay, good.
But I thought Bailey's kind of tasted like coffee.
It's only one part that. It's mostly vodka, Karen.
So it's another all alcohol drink.
Half and half and caramel.
You didn't say how much half and half, I guess.
One part.
Great. It's very rich.
It's good though.
Sweet or just.
It's a salted caramel white Russian.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with the movie. You just like it.
I just like it.
Okay. Alrighty.
No.
So much for creativity.
Nothing to do with the movie. I just like it.
Okay.
It's my favorite holiday drink. So I figured what better time than Anna and the Apocalypse.
Okay.
It's delicious. Trust me, you'll love it. So just the caramel sauce you put on ice cream, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we have it. Yeah.
okay.
Oh, I don't know if I have caramel. I have butterscotch because I'm sure we have something.
Well, whatever. Yeah. Caramel vodka. I think I might have enough for one more drink. I have to buy more. I just started drinking it last year, Karen.
So on YouTube, do you make the one that you drink during the podcast?
Yes.
Okay, so you make it right before.
Yep.
Well, you should check out YouTube because Greg does show you how to make every drink.
I'm not a bartender. I just play one on the internet.
And he wears merch from our merch store.
I do. Well, most of the time. Depends. Football season, you may see a football team shirt on me, but
all the recipes that we have for the drinks are in the recipe den on the Scary Spirits podcast website, scaryspirits.com.
Anyone you need to thank, Karen?
I am going to thank Mary Brady because you want to know why?
Why, Karen?
Because she likes every single post we put on social media, Facebook especially.
She's awesome.
She is. So thank you, Mary.
I always did like her.
Me too. We appreciate that. Just that one little click, giving us a thumbs up or a heart, really makes us happy.
Yes.
Feel loved and special.
All right. Karen, I need to once again thank Verse 13 for letting us use their music in the podcast. All their info is linked in the new and improved Super Show notes.
Awesome.
All right. Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Careful of that eggnog. Goes down easy.
I'll let you know in the morning.
Thanks for listening to the Scary Spirits podcast, where the movies might be iffy, but the drinks are always solid. We would love to hear from you. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast, or go to our website, scaryspirits.com. And if you want the direct line, email us at info@scaryspirits.com. If you really want to help us out, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And remember, always drink responsibly. See you next week.